So the today's session will not be long. It will take like only 1 hour, and then we finish just because we are going to harmonize what we've started yesterday, and also finish the other chapter, chapter 11, that is about Windows configuration. So I welcome you all in this session, and as usual, we are going to have a word of prayer before we start. Let's pray. Dear kind and loving Father, thank you for this time. May your guidance and your Holy Spirit be with us through this session. For we pray, believing and trusting in the name of Jesus. Amen. We remember that the chapters that we are talking about is chapter 10 and chapter 11. Yesterday we said that Windows configuration and Windows installation is one of the chapters that all of us we need to know about, just because there's no way we can know that the operating system exists without knowing how then can I install an operating system. There is no way we can say that we know that Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Mac OS, Linux is there, but without knowing then how can I install that operating system. So then we are going to see, we are going to learn then how can I install an operating system, and also how can I configure the operating system as well. So it is what then we are going to study today, and I think we will not take long. But today I would like then to ask your total participation, please. Try to participate and also to ask questions. As I have told you, an operating system is nothing other than a system software that is there to control the hardware, to give an interaction or an interface between the user and the hardware, and also to run on the top of other applications. So it means it cannot be possible to have a running application without a running operating system. So it means your operating system should be running very well, so that also you can be able to run your applications. Let me say, for example, MS Office, MS Word, or VLC, let me say Apache Tomcat. Those all applications will be running only if the operating system is running. So then we have said that then when you are going then to install an operating system, there are some requirements that you need to have. There are some hardware requirements and also some software requirements. In hardware requirements, what you need first of all is a bootable disk. You can use a flash disk, a CD, or a floppy, whatever that you want. But also your machine, your hardware, if you are going to install Windows 10, should be having at least 1 GB of RAM, 1 gigahertz of processor, and also the graphic which is above 800 times 600. So it means those are the requirements, the basic requirements that you need. Then, like here right now, I'm having my flash disk. We've said that then, if you want then to install an operating system, you need a bootable drive. For me, I am having my flash disk. Then, if you are having a flash disk, is not always bootable. You need to make it bootable. In order to make it bootable, there is a list of commands that we can have that will be making your flash disk bootable when you want to make it into using command line interface or CFD or command prompt. Then there's one command that we need to enable, or environment, command environment that we need to enable, and it is called the diskpad. You need to go to your CMD, and then in your CMD you will run your CMD as administrator. Right click, run as administrator. Once you said run as administrator, sometimes it gives you a prompt to accept. You come here, CMD, Then on your CMD, you can say run as administrator. Then after running as administrator, then let me try to increase the size so that we can be able to see. So here then, so here, the first thing is to enable disk part environment. When you enable disk part, it is disk part, not disk part, this part. Disk part environment, you can see that Microsoft Disk Part version 10 is enabled right now. So as you can see, I'm having my flash disk connected, and my flash disk is this one. So I can first of all format it so that usually it was bootable before, but let me format it so that it can go back to the original version where when it is not bootable. So label invalid. Let me call it disk. Okay, you can see that I have finished already to format it. You can see that it is a flash disk as normal flash disk. Then we need to go to our format complete. Thank you. We need to go to our CMD. It is taking too long, but there's no problem. But I'm in there. So the first thing that I need to say, it is to list disk. List disk usually will be helping you to know what are the disks that are connected to your machine. Please don't select disk 0, just because most of the time disk 0, it is the disk that is having or holding your operating system. So for us then, if you are having more than one flash disk connected, you need to check, okay, this is 8 GB. Then am I in need of making this 8 GB flash disk bootable, or it is another one? So after this then, you need to select this one. Then you will be saying then select disk 1. After selecting your disk, then you will clean it. Cleaning means cleaning everything, just because there's no way the flash disk can be bootable without cleaning everything from it. Then we have said that we are having two types of partition. We are having extended or logical partition and primary partition. And we've said that a bootable partition, it is also what we call primary partition. And when you say bootable partition, it is a partition where the operating system can be or can be installed. So this why then I'm going to create primary partition, create partition primary. So after this, then I need to select the last created partition, select partition 1. Then I need then to format this flash disk using the file system, which is new technological file system, but then I want it to be quick. Why? Because if I don't put this quick, it will take like some minutes. So this way then I need to make it quick so that it will be very easy, and it will take only like 10 to 15 seconds. So after this, then I need to activate my partition. I'm making your partition active. It means you can you can save something from it. But then, even if you can you can save something from it, it is not readable. This is why after this, so this is why then after this, I need then to assign a letter to it. If you have a disk which is not assigned to a letter, then it will not work. It will only be viewed from disk management, but not at the user view. So after this, then I am exiting, and I'm exiting. So it means right now my flash disk becomes bootable flash disk. What do I need then to do? I need to go and locate. I need to go here and locate into my applications. then I locate my Windows files. I can come here and then I copy this. You come and you paste on your flash disk. Usually after pasting everything from your flash disk, let me say, for example, okay, let me say that only I am taking this one and I come, then I paste it here. Okay, always keep. You will see that usually your flash disk, after pasting everything, you will have your bootable flash disk and you can boot on it. As you can see, using command, it takes some time. But then you can use third-party application like Lofers, like PowerISO, like we are having many applications. Like when you go to Lofers, and the Lofers, it is the one that it is very easy to be used. As you can see here, I don't know whether everyone can see here. You can see that it is detecting the device, but here there's something that I want them to emphasize on, what we call partition scheme and target system file. Here, when we say when we let me try to remove the disk, you can see that it is going. But when you connect your disk, if you are having many disks, it is recommended that then you come here from the disks. You can come here from the disk, then you'll be seeing the list of all your flash disks that are connected. But as long as I do only have one flash disk that is connected, this is why I can see it like this. So here we have seen that we are having two types of boot option. We can have UEFI and legacy. Then if you are going to boot a machine in legacy, please select the first one. If you are going then to boot a machine from UEFI, please select GPT or GUI partition table. Then this is what we mean by master boot record. Usually GPT, it is replacing, it came after MBR or master boot record. As we know, UEFI came after legacy. UEFI, it is the new firmware interface or new technology of firmware interface. And then we need to know, is my PC requesting me or having the configuration of UEFI or having the configuration of legacy? Is my secure boot enabled? If it is enabled, it is GPT. If it is not enabled, then it is MBR. Then for us, then we say, for example, it is this one. Then you need to come here and then locate your ISO image. This is my ISO image, then you click on start. So it means then after doing this, after making your flash disk bootable, your flash disk then will be having the operating system installed on it. So once then you connect your flash disk to your machine, the first thing that you will be seeing, it will be asking you will be connecting your flash disk to your machine, then you press your boot key. The boot key can be F9, F10, F11, F12, delete, F7. Usually for Positivo it is F7, for some HP and Dell it is F9 and Toshiba, but some others is F12. But then how can you know the boot key for your machine? You can search online, then you put the model of your machine, they will be telling you the boot key. But then if you are not able to search from online, then you can try from F1 to F12 and make sure that Fn is not enabled from the BIOS. Otherwise you will need to click with the combination of Fn plus F1 to F12. Okay, once then you connect your flash disk, if your operating system is not licensed, you'll be seeing first of all this you'll be seeing this panel. Then what you need only to do is to click on skip. Why? Because like here you're saying that the product key will be put after the installation. Here, once you go there, then it will be asking you, do you want to upgrade or to customize your installation? Upgrading means going from one level to another but going up. Downgrading means going from upper level to lower level. And custom installation, it means it is installing a new copy of an operating system. to each and everything that you can do, especially custom or advanced, you need to do the backup before doing it. So after this, then they will be asking you to choose the the partition where you can install the operating system. We say that we can have two types of partition: primary partition and extended partition. Then here on primary partition, it is what we call bootable partition, and it is where the operating system can be installed. And logical or extended partition, it is a partition where you can only save your files. Then, as we have seen, you need to have uh, at least 35 gigabytes of your hard drive in order to install Windows 10. So then, here we can say that, okay, this is my partition. But if you want then to create a new partition, you can click here on new. But here new is not enabled. Why? Because this partition, it is unpartitionable. It means because it is too small, you cannot partition it. Why? Because it is only having the free of this one. So as long as I have told you that you need to have at least 35 gigabyte of hard drive, but you can at least have 12 gigabyte of your hard drive in order to install Windows 10. So for us, then you can click here on format so that you can make it free, and then you click on next. So after clicking on next, it will be taking some steps. Then it will be asking you to put your username and also the password, to select if you can to select the time zone, and also some other configuration, but it is a wizard related configuration. Then after that, after the restart, it will also give you this where you can put your keys, and you can say do this later, so that then you can activate your Windows after. Usually then this is the steps of installing an operating system. Then after installing the operating system, the second thing that we need, then we understand that our operating system will be coming with the default settings. It will be coming with what? With the default settings. Then it's up to us then to say, okay, as long as then this operating system is coming with the default settings, then how can I then change those default settings to user required settings? Are we together? So we need then to change from the default setting to user required settings. This is what we mean by then Windows configuration. We want to configure our operating system. Okay, as I've been telling you, then we need to configure our operating system after installing the operating system. Then our operating system configuration, the way it will be done. I'm sorry. Okay, as I've been telling you, after installing the operating system, then we need to configure our operating system. Then the configuration, as I can tell you, the configuration depends on the user requirement. There are some users who can tell you, okay, I don't want a light desktop, I want a dark desktop. So it means this is the configuration that the user wants. And you, as a computer expert or a technician, then you need then to configure that operating system according to the user requirement. Are we together? Yes. Then here we can say, okay, we need to configure the Windows desktop and File Explorer. Then we can use the features from Windows Desktop. We can also use the File Explorer. We can also compare the version. We say, okay, as long as this user was coming from Windows 7 to Windows 8, then how can I configure my Windows 8? Yes, how can I configure my Windows 8 to look like Windows 7 so that I will maintain the user's desktop? Then it is one of the configuration tips that we need to do. Then we can also know that when you are going to do the configuration, everything is from the control panel. We can say, okay, I want to use the accounts, the user account. For example, if you have installed the operating system, then the name of the user was, for example, Windows 10. You need then to say, okay, I want them to go in control panel, and then I change the name from Windows 10 to the name of the user of the computer. You can go even in panel utilities of control panel, then you change some utilities. So it means from control panel you can have access to all the settings that the user may need. So we can say, okay, for example, then the user want them to continue using command line. So then you can configure your operating system then to be able and adaptable to command line, no, to CLI. So you can, again, after doing this, you need to make sure that you apply the preventive maintenance, either hardware related and software related preventive maintenance. After installing the operating system, you need to make sure is auto update enabled, is the antivirus installed, is this and this done. You remember from chapter 4 and chapter 3 when we've been talking about preventive maintenance. You need then to make sure that the configuration for preventive maintenance are all there. Are we together? Yes. And here we are going to do some configurations, and also if we have any problem after installing the operating system. Let me say, for example, after installing Windows 7, you will see that your operating system plus will not be adaptable to wireless, or the mouse will not work very well. Then we need to say, okay, if my network is not able, my network I'm not able to get connected to my network or to the Wi-Fi, then you need to make sure that you also troubleshoot that. It means then after installing the operating system, you need also to make sure that if there is any problem that is coming with the new operating system, please troubleshoot it so that the user will be starting using the operating system when the operating system is well configured. So we need then to make sure that all of these things are all done. So for example, if you don't have the network, you need to go to the, like if I'm using my HP, then you need to go to hpsupport.com. You can go to Google. If you're using Dell, you can go to dellsupport.com. If you're using any, you can go to the manufacturersupport.com. So it means then here, like if you are using HP, you can go to HP support and drivers. But for example, if for example I want wireless or even fingerprint, let me say the first thing that we need to know is to know your you need to know your model, the model of your machine. Like mine, it is HP EliteBook 840 G2, I think so. Okay, then what do you need to do is then to come here, you write your model. After the model, then you say, for example, fingerprint. Okay, fingerprint drivers for Windows 10. You can see that everything will be coming from there. So then you need to make sure that you are on support.hp.com, because there are some like drivers.softpedia. We are not sure about these people if they are giving us the correct things, but then you need to go to HP support or to the manufacturer support.com. This is how you can see your the model number. Like here you can see that it is HP EliteBook 840G2 or generation 2. Then from here you can see that it will be asking you which Windows operating system are you using, Windows 10 64-bit. Yes, if you are not using this one, or if you are downloading it from another PC, you can change it from here. You can see that then here we'll be having all the drivers will be here. So please, I recommend you to use your manufacturer support website other than using those drive pack. because in DrivePack I can download the DrivePack. I configure the DrivePack according to my wish. I put some hacking DDLLs that will be running at a specific time. Then I publish it back. So then we need to make sure that we use uh, the manufacturer support website. Like here, if I want, like for example, the other one of driver keyboard drive okay, firmware. If you go here to okay, the problem is that most of my things, most of my drivers are updated, but it is not a problem. But then if you want, for example, the graphic, you can see that you are having AMD and Intel graphic. When you want the mouse and fingerprint, you can also see that here you can download this application that will be helping you to use your fingerprint. So everything is there. So then we are going then to have the session for question. Like configurations, we are having a bloat configuration. We can take like the whole day doing the configuration of one machine. It depends then on the user's need. So then I am not going to say I am going to teach you this in the configuration, but then I am going to welcome each and everyone to ask any question, that you want about configuration. I'm going to call each and everybody to ask any question that you have in configuration. Mhm. Usually, as I have said, I recommend you to use the manufacturer's website drivers, those drivers that they are giving you from the manufacturer's website. Why? Do you remember the other cyber attack that has happened in 2018? It was from DrivePack Solution 2014. The hackers downloaded the other DrivePack. They configured the DrivePack solution according to their needs, and they have put it some configuration so that whoever who will be using that application in 5 years will be controlled by them. Then at the end of the time, these people were able to control us, and we've paid a lot of money. You remember, it is a story that happened. Even if you go to some website in Rwanda, you'll be seeing some website that has been attacked from there. So we are not sure about where those draft pack solutions are coming from, unless you are buying it from Microsoft. But if you are downloading it from Google, so please, I don't recommend that. So please don't use it unless you know exactly where that drive pack solution is coming from. Have you got what I said? Hello? Hello? Okay, can I have other questions, please? Hello, if you have a question, so please unmute yourself and ask a question, or raise the hand, and I will be seeing that your hand is raised. Then I will be giving you time. Okay, if there's no problem, I think then we can end the class. Just cause plus whatever that you done in the assignment, then you didn't encounter any questions. So it means then I don't know if we can continue when we don't have questions, just because we are in the time of questions. But what I've told you is that Windows configuration, it is a way of configuring the operating system after installing it so that it can meet the user's requirements. Then we have said that some of the requirements that the user will be telling you is to change the name of his computer, to change the display, uh, to change the interface from GUI to CLI or from CLI to GUI, things like that. So then if you're having a problem, please ask. And if you don't have a problem, there is a tutorial that I have put on my YouTube channel. It is talking about tips for Windows configuration for experts. So you will even just follow that video if you want. Then you'll be seeing more about those tips of configuring Windows after installing it. So we are welcoming questions. Yes, Janine? We are not getting you. Okay. Usually, partitions. I'm sorry. Let me first pick this call because it is a bit strange. Okay, let's get back. And here we've been talking about, usually there was a number that were calling me, the number from 114. It was telling me about the information with me. So this is why then I have been going off a bit. Okay, so my sister Janine is having a problem about partitions. Usually partitions, what do you mean by partition? You can go to control panel and you say, for example, disk management. Here we can go to disk management from control panel. Or in simple words, administrative tool, then you go to disk management, or even just you go to there to disk management. But in simple words, you can come here, then you go to my computer. Here on my computer, then right click, then you go to manage. When you go to manage like that, you will be seeing that you can have device management and also disk management. Then when you go to disk management, usually, let it come. I don't know why my computer is going this slow. You can see that here we are having what we call disk management. And in disk management, you'll be seeing all your partitions. Here in partitions, you can see that we are having what we mean by, here in parentheses, you'll be seeing primary partition, primary partition, primary partition. And this one also, it is active and primary partition. Usually the active and primary partition, usually it will be that one that is able to hold the files and also to install the operating system. And this is the other flash disk of mine. After making it bootable, you can see that it has changed its view. You can see that it is now being viewed like a CD. Can you see it? Yes, it is because I have made it bootable using the other ways that we have described before. Then we are having two types of partitions. We are having primary partition and logical partition. Primary partition, it is a partition where you can install an operating system, and on your disk, on your hard drive, you can only have up to 4 primary partitions. So this is to mean that you can only have up to 4 operating system installed in one machine. But logical partition, they can even go up to 96 if I'm not mistaken. Then it means those logical partitions are only designed to hold your files. They cannot be able to hold the operating system, but they are only designed to hold your files. This is what I can say about partitions. But then why do I need to partition my computer? Like here on my computer, you can see that I'm having two partitions. I am having local disk C and local disk D. This is the flash disk. Okay, local disk C and local disk A. So I can see that, okay, I wanted only one drive or one partition to hold the operating system. It is recommended that the operating system drive or the partition holding the operating system, you don't save your files there. Why? Because when you are booting your operating system, sometimes in the boot in the boot sequence or in post or in power on self-test, it can even just take more time just because it will be checking also unnecessary files. So it is recommended that you don't save your personal files on the partition where the operating system is, and you need to have some partitions that will be holding your personal files. And if, for example, you also need to be specific, you can have a partition for your movies, a partition for your notes, a partition for your project, a partition for your uh, for the church, something like that. So this way then we can have many partition or more than one partitions. I think Janine, you are understanding, right? Mhm. Any other question, please? Network configuration. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, when you are going to create those shared networks or something that people are calling shared networks, then there's one command that I recommend you to use. Hello. Yeah, go ahead. So there is something that I recommend you to use. The first thing, creating a hosted network. If you are using Windows 7, Windows 10 or Windows 8, it is coming. This is one of the configuration that is coming with the operating system by default. When you click here, as you can see, if I am coming, then I click on my network. You can see something like mobile hotspot. So it means then it I can be able to create a hosted network from there. But then if you are using like desktop where you cannot have, okay, if you are using an operating system where you don't have this configuration, then you'll be using Netish WLAN. If you are using Windows 7, it is very easy because there are some steps that you can use. But you can use Netish WLAN command. This will be helping you to create a wireless LAN from your computer. So I will give you the commands that you'll be using, but then if you're using Windows 10, it is very easy because you come here and then you enable it very easily. And if you are using Windows 7, this one also you can download it from your manufacturer's website. You can go then and download this drive that will be helping you to do so. After configuring your network, then you will be starting your hosted network. You will start your hosted network. It will work. And if it doesn't work, usually we need to check along the way because it is only 3 steps, 3 commands that we need to write. Unless you want me to share it from here, right? If you want, so I can also. Is your machine being able to get connected to wireless? So if it is working from one machine and on another machine it is not working, so it means then it is a problem of the machine. But then after this session, please contact me via my WhatsApp, then we can get connected so that we can fix the problem. Just because of the limited time that we do have here, I am not sure whether I can be able to get connected with you, with all the participants, because there are some people who are interested and others who are not interested. So it means then we need to, you can contact me after this so that we can even fix the problem. Mm, thank you. Any other problem? Any other question, please? I want the questions from the participant, please. Okay, then. Ineza Leila, ask a question. Ineza Leila, you don't have a question. Wow, that's very good. Okay, Fatma. Yes, good morning. We want your question, Fatma. But what? Mm-hmm. Cloud computing and virtualization. Mm-hmm. Usually, in simple words of what we have seen, at that time we say that cloud computing, usually, let us explain cloud computing as kids. We can say that cloud computing, it is a computer on cloud. And what does this mean? So it means then you can be able to have access on your drive, on your files, on the cloud. On the cloud means what? From whenever you can be. You can have a computer here in Kigali, and then when you go to Changugu, then you'll be again having access to your drive, to your files, even if your files are on the computer from Kigali. Then cloud computing, it is one of the new technology that is helping people, first of all, to have access to their files in a remote place. Secondly, to have access to their application 24/7. So it means What are the components of cloud computing? We have said that interconnected servers, data centers, and the users. So it means the data center, as long as here we, like in Rwanda in Telecom, we are having a data center, and the Republic of Rwanda or the government of Rwanda is recommending everyone to go and paste our application from there, because their servers will always be on, and no one will be missing access to the application as long as then their servers are on always, and they are interconnected, so that if one goes down, another one takes up. It means then cloud computing is one of the technology that will be helping us, first of all, to have access to our files in a remote place, and also to hold or to host our application 24/7. So then virtualization is a way of accessing many hardware, many operating system in a virtual manner. So it means you can have only one hardware, but on only one hardware you can have like 10 operating system running on one hardware, and all of these operating system will be sharing those or that hardware that you do have. So this is like a simple definition and the difference between virtualization and cloud computing. But then we are having what we mean by cloud computing and also cloud storage. These are the two things which are different. So in cloud also we have storage. Or by history, we know that like Korea, they have said that each and everybody, there's no one who is allowed to move with their laptops, with their computers. You need to leave it where it is. And whenever you reach, you'll be having access to your files. So it means then for them, they're having access to cloud storage. Then in cloud computing, we are having cloud storage too. Yeah, and everyone, if you are using Google, you have seen that they have given you 15 gigabyte free on Gmail. So it means then, is it being deducted from your hard drive? I'm asking you. No. So it means then we are getting access from this 15 gigabyte free from the crowd. And if you want, then you can even upgrade. And you have, for example, 1 terabyte on Gmail, on Google Drive. So it means then this is one of the ability of cloud computing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, usually I have said that you can have up to 4 primary partition. And if you can have up to 4 primary partition, so it means then you can also have up to 4 operating system in one machine. And when you are having more than one operating system installed in your machine, when you are starting your operating system, then it will give you the list of all running operating system. Then for you, you choose which one to open or which one not open. So it is very easy. There's no other configuration needed. But what only needed is to have a good and powerful hard drive, and also the operating and the processor. Just because you understand that the processor is the one running on the top of all the 3 or 4 operating systems. Thank you. Any other question, please? Okay, Karen. The mic goes to Karen for the question. Karen, are you there? Karen. So the class leader will be removing Karen from the attendance because Karen has joined the meeting, but she has gone away. Okay, let us just listen to the question from Connect to Villis. But who are you, Connect to Villis? Yes, good morning. Who are you? I can see connected to Virus. I'm not sure whether I'm connected to viruses. Uh, hey, it's Derek. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Wireless. Usually, you put the drivers, then it didn't work. Usually, the first thing that we need to make sure, sometimes our machine can be connected. Our machine, we can say, for example, our machine is not connected, then we go and then we try to solve the problem by installing some drivers, but the drivers are not the issue. Hello? Yes, I am saying that usually always the drivers is not the issue. The first thing that we need to make sure is, firstly, can my computer be connected to network or not? How do you check that? As we have seen last time, the first thing that you need to do is to come to your CMD and then ping yourself. What do you mean by pinging yourself? As we have seen, pinging yourself, it is pinging the loopback IP. Then you can ping, for example, you can ping localhost. When you ping localhost, you can see that I'm receiving a reply. And the localhost usually, pinging the localhost, it is the same as pinging 127.0.0.1. You can see also that I'm receiving a reply. So it means if, for example, for the first time you try this and it works, so it means then the problem is your drivers. And then if this doesn't work, so it means then the problem is your machine which is not having a network card. So brother, the first thing that you need to make sure is my machine being able, or is my network card present and working very well? If yes, then you need to go to drivers. If not, you need first of all to insert your network card. Then my question goes to you back. Have you tried this and you've received a reply? Yeah, please first of all do this. And if this then works and you still not able to be connected to network, you need to go to the browser, then uh, you browse for the drivers of your machine. You need to put your machine model. By using the XDAG, it will be giving you the model of your laptop. Then you need to copy this, then you paste it here. HPA Lightbook G2, for example, then you say network drivers. Then it will be directing you to hpsupport.com. Then you need to download only the drivers. Please don't use these unknown resources or drive packs. Please first of all try this, and if it doesn't work, you can go to drive pack as the last option. But then please first of all go here. As you can see, we are able to come here and have our drivers free download, and you can download all of them. Yes, Salama, good morning dear, how are you? Mhm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. So usually the hypervisors, as you have said, usually hypervisors. Hello? Yes. Yes, I am saying that hypervisor usually it is a software or a computer software, firmware or hardware that will be creating and running on the top of your hardware to create virtual machine. And as we have seen in virtualization, virtualization will be having virtualization software like VMware or VirtualBox. Then, according to the virtualization software, either the first, like, let me say, for example, VirtualBox, it will be having type 2 hypervisor. And then who put this hypervisor? Those are the programmers of those softwares. For us, then, the users who are going to use virtualization, we will not say I want type 1 or I want type 2, but it depends on the virtualization software that you are using. Yes. Okay, thank you too. Do we have any other question? But those who have asked the question, so please remind me. You can type in chat, then you give me your IDs for the bonus. Just because I want to encourage everyone then to ask questions, also to participate in this session. Alfred Quizera, right? Are you Alfred Quizera? Hello, Andrew Quizera. Mounting a drive. Okay, mounting a drive. What do you mean by mounting a drive? Okay, when you say mounting, what do we mean by mounting in simple words? I want to ask you, brother Andrew Quizera. Hello. Uh-huh. I am asking, what do you mean by mounting? Only mounting. What when we say my I am going to mount my hard drive? Mm-hmm. Yes, what do you mean by that? Usually mounting, like when you say mounting, it will mean what? It will mean like making your partition accessible or making your drive accessible. Then mounting a drive or mounting a folder on a network, so it means you will be allowing people to access that drive or allowing people who are on the same network to access that disk without any other configuration. For example, after sharing my folder, I can say, let me mount it. When you mount your drive, when you mount your file, when you mount your folder, so it means it will permanently exist and also accessible to all the people from the same network. It is the third chapter from computer network. And for those who will be studying this course, then you will be able to study it. Yes, mounting a drive or mounting a folder or mounting a network card or mounting anything, mounting a printer. So it means you are making it permanently accessible on the people using the same network. That's all. Mm. So I want them to welcome like the two last questions. I can see connect to Villis. The raise his hand is the hand is raised. Then can you please ask your question, Brother Derek? I think it is not a question. Okay, thank you so much then. And uh-huh, we are not getting you. So please, can you please repeat the question? Not getting you. Please check for your connectivity. Plus, you don't have a good network, so please make sure that you have a good network. Okay, thank you so much. I think there's no other question. Then I can have those people who have asked the question. You can write your ID and you add this sentence. I have asked the question or I have answered the question. I can only see Andrew and Salama. Okay, that's good. But it has been long without hearing from our class leader. Is she fine? Okay, it's good. And please tell us something. Thank you. We want something from you, dear class leader. And we will not go without hearing from you. As Jesus has, the robe of Jesus or the dress of Jesus has been taken till he blessed the other woman, we too will not leave you without blessing us.